paratrooper, his main, what do we want to say here, forte, is that he has conquered fear.
They have the morale that you don't get in other regiments. And the reason being is because once you become a paratrooper, you've faced fear, and you have overcome that fear.
Each of us has conquered the fear.
He has conquered that to jump out of an airplane. Therefore, he'll do anything.
You could go on for weeks and days, you know, with the minimum of comfort.
We do so many special things that are not done by any other soldier.
You have to appreciate that the airborne were not equipped with tanks. We didn't have heavy vehicles. We were light. We could be put on a plane and jump and survive and do our job without all this equipment.
We had a very strong feeling of being the top of the class in the Canadian Army.
Big part of the Canadian Forces.
People who are excellent in fighting, they're physically fit, they're ready to go anywhere, and they know they can do it because they're a jumper.
You were very much aware that you had volunteered and that there was a job to be done.
Scared, I guess, yeah. You knew you had to do it, so what?
You know, the Airborne Strike Force went in expecting horrendous casualties.
When I get down, I know what I have to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And you didn't think about much else except the job that I've got to do.
And I said to myself, will I ever hear this again?
They were English jumps out of an aperture, and he come down on the right landing spot with the chute and open and just mashed him, you know. There was two of them happened while I was there.
Even if you're in your slit trench, if a shell hit a tree, the blast would come down into your slit trench.
Some of our mortar and machine gun people had landed in the water with the heavy equipment. Some of them drowned. Some of them never got out of there.
Quite a few of the guys drowned in things before they got out of their harness.
When you're having that sort of experience, trust me, your life flashes in front of you, all those things that happen. For me, it did.
In the first firefights we got into, they were killing people where I was. And I was horrified. Like when you come to the reality of fighting, what it's like, the horror of it, people getting killed, people you know getting killed. And
you're very much aware that in combat people were killed, people suffered, and that you could very well be one of them.
Most of the casualties were from shell fire.
Everybody was firing, but you didn't know where. I think the Germans must have seen us in the window there. And as soon as we fired that bomb, when they fired an HE shell right through the wall, and fired an HE shell through the room and killed the four of them.
And he kept saying his belt was too tight, so I cut his belt off and his intestine just rolled out onto the ground. That is when the war hit me.
The Army prepares a soldier for war, and they do a pretty good job of it. But one thing they can't prepare you for is the peripheral damage to non-combatants and civilians and kids, women and kids. I think that's what affects us more than anything else that ever happened there.
you're just absolutely wiped out when you come out of these things. You know, the adrenaline and all that stuff and you've made it, you know.
You can't stop to think, well, should I do this, should I do that? It's got to be automatic. It's either he's dead or you're dead, one or the other.
It's all in training. I don't think it's right in our genes to go and kill. But a Canadian, if he has to do something, knows it's worthwhile, he'll be a killer as good as any of them, maybe better.
We weren't programmed for after action what would happen, but I think we were trained to kill. We were trained to kill big time.
The enemy was vicious, really vicious.
I truly believe that if a soldier doesn't have compassion and doesn't have respect for life, then he will not be a good soldier. He will become some kind of an unthinking animal. And I wouldn't want that kind of a soldier jumping with me or fighting with me.
Each of us knows in our hearts what's right and what's wrong.
We like to think we defend the people that cannot defend themselves.
airborne forces have a reputation for being members of a brotherhood, almost a religion.
That we have a lifelong relationship and we all drank from the same helmet.
We're a band of brothers.
I still enjoy the company of fellow jumpers.
When you go through something that is demanding, is tough, and so you've gone through those shared experiences, and so the opportunity to actually relate within that airborne brotherhood is wonderful.
It means to me that I had the opportunity to not only serve with the best of the best in my view.
Those of us, I've met very few people who didn't look upon their service with the airborne as being the height of their military career, whether they were around for 4 or 5 years or for 40 years.
But it is a group of people who have done some extraordinary things during their service career, which I think give us a great deal of satisfaction and a great deal of camaraderie.
Hard to describe it. It is the one thing in my military career that has really, really stayed with me. And will always be there. Will always be there.
And it stays, the people you're qualified with or you serve with, you stay friends the rest of your life.
We look after each other, and they are an extended family, a real extended family.
You would do anything for your buddies and they would do anything for you.
We stand up for them.
The friendship has never ever changed.
I'm an airborne soldier. That's the way it is.
We're brothers till we die.